in-depth and God-filled conversations with some of the brightest names in contemporary Christian music and worship. This is The Artist Interview with Gordon T.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Artist Interview. I'm your host, Gordon T, and it's my privilege to bring to you Christian artists from around the world, bringing you great music and amazing faith-building stories. This week we've got Ty Brasel. He's got some great tracks and stories to share. Looking forward to hearing from him in just a moment, but let's hear his first track. This is When Worlds Collide from his album, The Divine Storm.
This song might make God's playlist, might get sung by angels, might hear the voice of the nations, lift these words while they praising. This might block temptation, this might ease tribulation. When you catch that vibration, might get a healing sensation. I know life crazy, outrageous, seem like the evil overtaking. I know the wickedness is raging, I see the blood on the pavement. Look at what we created, it's wild out here, it's so dangerous. People losing hope, they getting jaded. People lost faith, they stopped praying. And they said that I heard joy comes in the morning, but most days, the days filled with mourning. And I'm torn in pieces, cause all I see is torment. The lightning, the rain keeps storming, the world keeps spinning in orbit. But one day the world come crashing down. One day you hear that trumpet sound.
And that was When Worlds Collide by Ty Brasel. Hey Ty, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Now, you're not hugely well known yet in the UK, but it's great to have this opportunity to connect with you. Where in the world are you, sir?
Yes, sir. I am in Memphis, Tennessee, in the United States.
And is that your hometown?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I grew up in Mississippi, like right on the border of Memphis. It's called Olive Branch. And but you know, always in and out of Memphis, in and out of Mississippi. So kind of down here, it's just kind of all it all blends in for us.
Somewhere down the south of America.
Down south side, yeah.
Absolutely. Is it sunny where you are?
It is cold. It is cold.
Okay. So in the UK, we've had a sort of like, wow, going around 0 degrees Celsius. I've got no idea what that is in Fahrenheit, but freezing. So we've had.
Oh, that, yeah. Well, I was in Amsterdam 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I was visiting and working on some music, and it was very cold, but they said, you know, usually it's way colder. You got lucky, you know, but it still felt very cold to me. So I don't know.
Okay. So yeah, we're probably fairly similar to Amsterdam. So, okay. So I'd love to know about your life story, really, because I know you've got a story that really needs to be shared. Actually, I just want to give the floor to you. Tell us about your growing up and tell us how on earth you came to be following Jesus.
Yeah, man. So, you know, growing up, I was definitely, my mom tried to raise me in church. And she would make me get up and go to church every Sunday, but I didn't really want to be there, and I wasn't present when I was there. And I was rebellious, and I was, you know, I tried to, I don't know. I had you know, my family situation was tough growing up. You know, my parents got divorced when I was 8 or 9, and I was already becoming very, you know, I felt misunderstood, and I felt kind of alone. And so I wasn't really interested in the thought of church or God. And, you know, I got saved when I was around 8 or so. You know, I remember when my grandfather died, I believed in Jesus, but I didn't really know what that meant. But kind of a turning point that I remember in my life was getting a Christian rap CD when I was, I guess I was 11 or 12. And my Sunday school teacher, who he knew that I wasn't paying attention, and he knew that I could care less, he gave me a Lecrae CD. It was called After the Music Stops. And that's a big part of my testimony, because when I heard it, I just couldn't believe how good it was, but there was this power behind it that was really moving me at the time. I felt kind of empty, and it really spoke to me. And, you know, I really had an encounter with God that day, I would say, for maybe one of the first times. And then I you know, as I got older, I definitely got fully immersed in the lifestyle, the wrong lifestyle. You know, I started doing drugs, selling drugs, going to partying all the time. You know, I was really into sports, but I lost my focus for sports. I just, I think once again, I felt very empty, and I was searching for something, searching for identity, searching for meaning.
Yeah, what sort of age was this then?
This had to be 15, 16, 17.
Did your parents know what was going on? Were you living with your mom or living with your dad at that point?
Yeah, I was living with my mom, and she had remarried, and there wasn't the best relationship there for me. Probably because of me, But it was, it was a tough situation. So I was escaping, and I was leaving the house all the time and going and doing my own thing, and and I think she knew that I was up to no good, but I don't think she knew exactly what. But I did end up getting caught with drugs, and I got arrested a couple times, and so it definitely was a bittersweet ending to my high school, because I had all these big dreams for sports and all these things, but I really kind of lost my way, lost my focus, and then I hit kind of a rock bottom towards the end of high school. Because of that, I lost my opportunities, and I was, just really feeling lost. And God really showed up again, through conversations with friends, through rock bottom experiences myself, and really showed me that he cared for me, and that he had a plan for me, for my life. So I go to college. I go to Ole Miss. It's called Ole Miss. It's the University of Mississippi. And I started doing music while I was out there. I didn't really have a purpose for being there. I just knew I was supposed to go to college. That's just what you do. But I knew I didn't really have an interest in anything.
What was it you were studying at uni?
I picked the default course. I think it was called liberal arts.
Oh, so that's not music at all then?
But I just, whatever the default major was, that's what I picked. I was just going there because I didn't know what I was doing with my life, or where I was going, what was going on. So I just went, and but I ended up starting working on music with a friend, and this is before I was doing Christian music, and we had a group called the Comfortable Kids, and we were really starting to have a big buzz, but we were once again immersed in a bad lifestyle, and talking, about evil things in the music. And, I couldn't play my music for my mom, my grandma. That really hurt me. And so finally, I got arrested for the final time. I think it was the third or fourth time my freshman year of college, and in the jail cell. I remember having a moment where I realized that I was going to waste my life. I mean, I keep messing up all my opportunities, and I'm going down a path that's going to end up, either deceased or end up in prison. And I just knew that God had great things for me, and that he had called me to do so much more with my life. And so I kind of had an awakening moment, where I realized, like, I have to do something. I have to change my ways. I have to change my life so that I can thrive and prosper and do all the great things that God has called me to. And so, it was a slow process, but I did. I began that journey, and, by the providence of God, my laptop got stolen with the project that me and my friend were getting ready to release. And so that's when he began to call me to go solo, start my solo career and do Christian music. And
did you have no backup? The whole of the project just disappeared with your laptop?
It disappeared, and it was a sad time for me, because we spent a year or two working on it, and we were very popular at the time, especially on campus and around my hometown. Like, we had a great buzz going, and I do believe we would have probably had a lot of success, because we were very talented, and the music was very new sounding. But like I said, I believe God allowed it to happen. My laptop got stolen in a matter of 30 seconds. When I walked out of a room in college and came back, it was gone, and I never saw it again. And all the music was gone. And I was depressed for about 6 months after that. I felt like I let him down, let myself down, the people down. But then over time, I look back and I see how much of a blessing it was.
Yeah, God totally pivoted your route, kept your gifting and your skill set, but diverted you so that you could use what you have to glorify him. So Your grandma, you just mentioned her briefly in there, saying you couldn't play your music to her. So was she a churchgoer?
So my grandmother was Jewish, and my my whole mother's side of the family is Jewish, and my mother became a Messianic Jewish woman in high school, so she believed in Jesus, and herself and the rest of the family, that was a big point of contention for a long time, because the rest of the family, they didn't accept that, and she did, and that was why she raised me that way, and so she was a religious person, but she wasn't Christian.
I understand. Okay. Well, amazing heritage to have, though, and not often that I get to speak to someone who's got a mom who's a Messianic Jew. It's amazing hearing some of the stories coming out from within that sort of culture as well. So okay, so Absolutely. There you are, aged what at this point when that project's just gone?
I was 18. So this was 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago.
So you mentioned getting arrested, and you mentioned being in that police cell and knowing you've got to change your life. At that moment when you were thinking about it, did you go, I know that I have to get right with God? Or did God speak to you? Or was it that you just worked it out over the next period?
I believe God spoke to me. I definitely believe that the Spirit was communicating a message to me that this is not where I belong, and that this is not my future. And I think I had become so numb. And so there was a lot of things going on inside of me that I didn't realize I needed to heal from, and that I was trying to escape them and run from them. And, I was just broken, and didn't really realize how broken I was at the time. But I do believe that God was speaking to me, and I did act on it. I got out, and I didn't go back, and I began to, change my habits. And I reached out to all the people in my life, and I told them, I'm sorry for any grievances I've caused you. I'm changing my life from today on. Like, I will no longer be the same person. I really made an effort to make it clear to everyone around me that I'm serious about this time. Like, there's something happening in my life, and I really want to do this. So, yeah.
Well, and that's quite a stand. But were you also telling your friends who have been your friends, involved in drugs, involved in all the lifestyle that went with that, the party lifestyle, were you telling them, I'm following Jesus now, I'm going to change? Or was it you're telling the people that you knew, like your mum and people in authority and people who you knew cared for you, but weren't involved in that scene?
I told everybody.
Wow.
I told everybody, and I began to be public about it because I knew God already, and I had already had a relationship with Jesus, but I knew that I was running, and I knew that I was trying to put it off until the future, And so when I did have the wake up call, I felt already connected to Jesus and to some of the wisdom of the Bible. And it was just clear to me that if there was ever going to be a way that I could actually do this, I need to make it clear to the people in my environment so that they can change their expectations of me. And so that they can understand why I'm not the same, or why I'm not participating in the same things. And, I never wanted them to feel as though that I was making them feel as if they were less than me, or that I was better than them. I just want to know that I was different now. And so, I let everybody know.
Wow. Well, did you get any pushback? Did any people say, no, you're making a bad decision, and give you grief for it? Or did most people think, oh, okay, yeah, you got to do what you got to do?
Yeah, I think at the time, people supported me, and they were like, that's good. I don't know if people believed me, because I don't think this was the first time that I'd made a stand to change my life. And so I'm not sure how serious people thought I was, or whether or not they thought it would make too much of a difference. Like, okay, that's cool if that's what you believe, but uh, things will still be the same, so, but they weren't. I ended up dropping out of college. I actually left school at the end of that year to pursue music full time because I was in college. I was wasting money because I didn't know why I was there, and I wasn't paying attention in class. I was only working on music. So I ended up leaving school and pursuing music full time. Of course, I had a job at the time, but yeah, it was a drastic turn this particular time.
So you come to yourself to Godfrey, you've got the gift of music, you want to chase after music being your career. There's probably a lot of people who say they want music as their career and nothing actually works out, even if they make some great music. How did God open the doors, and what things were put in place, and how did the connections get made so that you could be signed to such a great record label as Curb Word?
Yeah, it's, I kept seeing just divine help and guidance along the way. When I left school, there was a period of time for about a year and a half before I actually ended up putting a song out. I started a clothing line, and I got a job working at a sweatshop, printing clothes and doing that thing. And I was trying to save up money, and I was recording a project this whole time. I got connected with a church in this area that had a multi-million-dollar recording studio. They had really put their all into the studio in hopes that, they really believed in Christian music. And so I met a guy just through the internet, just reached out, and I met this guy named Terry, who he goes by 20. That's his producer name. But I ended up getting connected with him, and he engineered my first project. But more than that, he became a mentor figure to me. He's a very wise guy, but he's also in music. And so God started bringing people into my life that helped me to grow and flourish in my gifting, but also in my studies and in my understanding. And definitely began to see, as he was bringing pieces into my life, people into my life, slowly but sure, very slow growth. It was even when I met the guy who signed me from the label, I knew him for maybe 2 years before he actually decided to sign me. He was just watching me develop, watching me grow. And, I was a little discouraged about that because I didn't know, I kept trying to what should I change this? Should I do this? But it was just, looking back, it was definitely just God's timing, the way it happened. So that was in December 2017 when I announced that I signed with Curb Word Records. And we're going on 5 years now, and we just kind of laid the groundwork. And so we're just going to keep going and just keep doing the thing. Wow. And
during that time, which artists have you collaborated with, which maybe we might have heard of?
Well, I have I've done a couple of collaborations with Lecrae. I've done a few collaborations with KB. I collaborated with Trip Lee. I collaborated with 1K Few and What Up RG, a lot of the guys from Reach Records. I collaborated with Jay Monty and Aha Gazelle, Paris Correa's, a lot of the guys in my class who are just incredible. Collaborated with Melody Wagner. She's from Hillsong Young and Free. I think they're in Australia. I've and a lot of producers as well, Dirty Rice, Juice Bangers, Joseph Prolazny, some greats in our space. But I've had the opportunity to really connect on a deeper level with these people as well, and get to know their heart and who they are as people. And man, there's so many great people, so many great experiences, and it makes the music better when you have a chance to connect with somebody on a personal level. When you collaborate, it comes out more genuine and authentic and expressive. And so, I've been very blessed, because I remember when I was just getting started, these are people that I'm a fan of, that I'm listening to in the car as I go to work, and that I'm, just dreaming of collaborating one day. And then you get a chance to collaborate with them. And, that's a very special thing. It's been a special ride for me. It really has,
When you collaborated with Lecrae, did you get to say to him, when I was 11, my Sunday school teacher gave me a CD and it really changed me?
I did. And
Cool.
he really appreciated that. He appreciated me, telling him. I think he probably, he's used to catching so much flack or backlash for this or that, but, he really deserves a lot of love for the impact that he's had, not just on me, but on my generation. And, so I told him that, and he was really appreciative of that. I'm sure it was a full circle moment.
Yeah, well, and I bet as well, though, Ty, that your music is going to have similar impact for many other people as well. So
that's great.
I hope you got other people's testimonies to hear of the change that your music will make for them. Now we've got another track to play from you, and it's a track that again we've picked because it's slightly more mellow than some of the other tracks. We will definitely hear something that's a bit more frantic later, but this track's called Crossroads. So tell us about Crossroads. Why did you write it? What's it all about?
Man, it was a time where I was feeling kind of confused and lost. This was just a couple years ago. During the pandemic is when I wrote this song. I was going through some tough times financially, spiritually, relationally, and I felt very low. I felt broken, and I just cried out. It's a cry out to God, and he came through, and he always brings you back to faith and teaches you something, and you always take something from it and become greater because of it, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely right. Well, Ty Brasel, this is your track, Crossroads.
These walls are closing way too soon. Please save me, I've been lost, it's true. I've been drowning in the deep end. I've been searching for a feeling. Don't think you should believe in me. I keep giving you a reason. I've been drowning in the deep end. I've been searching for a feeling. Don't think you should believe in me. I keep giving you a reason.
And that was Crossroads by Ty Brasel, and I'm so pleased that Ty is with us here for the artist interview. Ty, thanks so much for all you've shared from your heart about the way God just took you out of those circumstances and changed things around and brought you close to him. There's got to be lots of people listening who maybe are worried about friends, relations, or maybe it's themselves in a tight spot. It'd be great right now if you were happy to pray for listeners.
Absolutely. God, I just come to you today and ask that you would bless those who are listening with peace, that you would give them joy, and that whatever they're going through, that you would just comfort them and bring your love to them. And Lord, it's been a hard time the last few years, and I believe that a lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are struggling silently, and I just want to pray for you today. If you're struggling or if you're having a hard time with life, or having a hard time figuring things out, I just want you to know that things do get better, and there are brighter days ahead. The best days are ahead. And God, I just ask that you would continue to show them direction and guidance, and give them encouragement in this season, and bring people in their lives that they can walk through this with. And as well as those who are chasing after a dream that God has put on your heart, I want you to keep going and stay encouraged. I know sometimes it gets hard, but you can only lose if you give up. And so, God, I pray that you would empower them and open up their hearts to the wonder and the possibility of the future. And so I pray these things in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thanks so very much, Ty. And if you're listening in the UK, maybe you're not even a Christian, you're thinking, what's this Jesus all about that Ty Gordon was talking about? Just get along to www.findachurch.co.uk, because there are many churches that would love to welcome you and help you find more out about God's love. If you're listening worldwide, one of our partner stations, contact the studio and say, can you recommend a really great church? I'm sure they would love to do that for you. Okay, Ty, so you've been with Curbword for 5 years, you said. So during that time, how many singles have you produced? Albums? You got an album out recently?
I have released I just released I released one mixtape that didn't count as an album, but other than that, I released 3 full albums, and a few singles. And so it's been about one a year, pretty much a project a year with singles in between.
So tell us about your latest album.
So my new album is called Transcendent. It came out in November. We actually just released a short film, a 3D animated short film based on the album, and it'll help give you some context of the music. It's only 3 minutes, so it really condenses down the best parts and really gives you a chance to experience it quickly, but it also gives a story and a visual to follow along with. But Transcendent, the idea of the album is kind of being able to go low and being able to go high, but still being able to be content and find peace. No matter what you go through or what you're dealing with, being able to rise above any circumstances, being able to transcend and still be able to live and exist and feel okay and comfortable with yourself, and know that things will get better, and to have that transcendent peace. That there's that verse that talks about that God has given us a peace that transcends all understanding. And that piece is what I'm trying to deposit to people, because I believe through the things that I've been through, and having to fight through them and having to overcome them, I've been able to find this peace that I can have with me, no matter how bad things are going, no matter how good things are going, that I can stay grounded. So that's kind of the message of the new album.
It's a beautiful piece of work. It's got 15 tracks on there. So can you just tell me, if you're trying to describe it as being a genre, what genre would you say the album is?
This album is definitely it's very futuristic. So maybe futuristic, inspirational rap, R&B. it's definitely taking elements from, I personally, I'm such a big fan of music, and, growing up, my biological father, he played so much music for me from all styles and all decades. And I just became a music connoisseur, and I appreciate so many of the different elements of music, and so it definitely pulls from a lot of inspiration, and it has a Christian story being told of my redemption and my restoration. And it's an interesting piece of work. It's definitely different, but I'm so excited, couldn't be prouder of how it turned out.
So cool. So you mentioned about there being a short film that we can watch somewhere to learn about the album. Where do we go to see that?
Yeah, so it just came out on YouTube, and it's just called Transcendent Short Film. You can type in Ty Brasel. It should be the first one to pop up, or, Ty Brasel Short Film, Transcendent Short Film. And we spent about 6-7 months working on it day and night. I mean, it was supposed to come out a little sooner, but we really went to work on it and put a lot of time and love into it. And so super excited about that.
Now, for people who don't know how to spell your name for people.
Yeah, so it's like Ty is like Ty, real simple, 2 letters. And then Brasel is like Brasel. And so, yeah, I'm going to say it one more time, Brasel.
Yeah, Ty Brasel, Transcendent. Stick that into YouTube. You'll get to see something that will blow your mind. So now, talking of blow your mind, though, from the album Transcendent, is there a track that maybe is a little bit more frenetic, a little bit harder compared to some of the tracks we've heard so far that we could hear just a little snippet from? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a few actually. So probably I've got this new song. So I've got a song called Mad to the Max that is actually on a mainstream hip hop campaign at the moment in the UK and France. And it just got added to MTV Italy in heavy rotation. And so super excited about that. I wasn't expecting that, and so that song is definitely more. It's a hard song. It's for the younger people, like the youth. That's I guess kind of music they are rocking out to. But yeah, it would be cool to play a sample from that.
I got the antidote, I got the remedy. Me and my brothers, we solid. Do anything back with the bounce. We rollin' in symmetry, light up the city. They like my divinity. Angels with me, they surround my vicinity. Stay with the vibe, I don't do negativity. Shining from Mississippi or the Tennessee. Came from the south, but you know where we finna be. It's up, I'm going mad. I ain't got no ceilings, broke all the glass. I got that feeling, ain't no going back. Been moving so fast, I can't make it last. Been speeding too fast, I hope I don't crash. I'm going too crazy, I'm at to the max. I'm dodging the cameras, I ran when they flash. My head in the heavens, my foot on the gas. Yeah, we started away, they copied the splash. My team on my back, LeBron with the Cavs. I stay to the plan, I stuck to the map. I paid all my dues and then I pay tax. I'm back in the mix, I stay to the plan, I stuck to the script. I just crossed the waters, they burned down the bridge. I got on my goal, let the blessing commence.
Oh, wow, well, that is a cool bit of music for sure. I tell you what, the younger generation are going to absolutely love that. And the fact that you can bring lyrics which actually bring goodness and truth and light to a generation who listen to some of the music that just really is horrid. Some of the lyrics in today's music, absolutely awful to listen to. So you're countercultural because you've got a sound that the fact it's being played on MTV, that's amazing, and credit to you. Well done, Ty.
Hey, I appreciate
it's great
that.
You're out there shining the light. You got to shine the light, and you're doing it. So that's absolutely fantastic news. So, guys at home, you know what? If you're a praying sort of person, be praying for Ty Brasel for his music to really impact people's hearts. Wouldn't it be great if there was a story in the BBC News or whichever news outlet you have in your country, and it says, there was a guy just listening to MTV and suddenly God spoke to him because of a track that was singing out about God's love. So, okay, brilliant. Thanks, Ty. I'm really chuffed for you. That's absolutely great. Okay, so the album's out. You've got all these different bits and pieces happening right now. What do you think that God has for you in 2023?
I hope it's just bigger and better things. You know, I think we go from glory to glory, and I'm just expecting great things. I'm expecting God to move, not just in my life, but the people around me. And, you know, I believe actually, this isn't confirmed yet. That's why I haven't brought it up, but I do believe I'm coming to the UK in February.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, still waiting to get confirmation on that. So I don't want to make it too official, but I definitely am hoping to do some more traveling this year and see more of the world and learn from people, get new experiences. And so that's definitely, you know, whatever God has for me this year, I'm ready for it and I'm excited.
That's cool. So if you're coming to the UK, are you going to be doing any shows or are you going to be just recording over here, or what's the plan?
So we are going to do some recording. We're trying to do a press run for Mad to the Max, and just in general. And, you know, so I would love to reconnect in person. Of course, I'll have Stacy keep you updated on all that, but it's, I've never been, you know, I have been to Amsterdam a couple of times, but never been to the UK. And so I'm very excited for the opportunity. I hope it works out.
Awesome. I don't want to say it has to become your favorite country, but if it does, that is a nice thing, really. So anyway, have a great time when you get here. I hope that all works out. So, okay.
Absolutely.
Chasing after God, bigger and better things. You know, music-wise, that's fantastic news. Fantastic for us listeners. But what do you think God is wanting to stretch you in? He's always wanting to work on us as people. What are the areas of your life that you think, you know what, this is a thing that God's really wanting to just mold me a bit in?
I definitely, you know, I feel like the more that I grow in humility and wisdom, the stronger I'll be as a man in this world, as somebody who is not of this world, but is still trying to make an impact on this world. I think the more I can grow in humility and wisdom and understanding, you know, I think that personally, I've seen a lot of growth in myself. I think my friends would say the same thing over the last couple of years. You know, through hardship, I think I've learned so much about myself, and I've healed from a lot of things from my past. I believe I have. But I think definitely continuing to find healing and be able to stay patient and stay calm in moments of adversity. I think being responsible financially and learning how to be wise with my money and yeah, just all things growth. I'm definitely trying to I'm just growing in all areas this year. That's the goal.
Keep on pressing in. Absolutely. Okay. And with regards to the Bible, is there a Bible story that is like your favorite story?
My favorite story. Well, I really like, I love Paul. I'm a big Paul guy. I love his, the way his transformation and the things he went through. There's that verse where he talks about, I've been beaten and shipwrecked and I've been, made fun of and flogged and, all these things. But he still has this strong passion, even in jail, as he's writing out to people, to his, he's trying to communicate that no matter what I've been through, I still have this glorious hope. I have this hope for the future. I have hope for you. And that may not be the prettiest answer, but I've always really related to Paul's ability to persevere and his excitement for the things of God, despite everything that he's been through. And I love that, we have this guy who was a criminal, who was really operating in evil in some areas under the guise of righteousness, and who God still saw him fit to love him, to call him, and the person that he became, the impact that he had on the world to this day, beyond his years. Like, I'm just really inspired by Paul.
He's written some cracking bits of the Bible. That's for sure. So, have you got a favorite book that he wrote?
I always go back and forth to Philippians. It's like if I don't know what to read, I just go to Philippians because it's so calming to me. And I guess I like all of his letters to the churches, but for some reason, Philippians, you got 4:13, and really, the concept for Transcendent kind of comes out of Philippians. I know how to be abased. I know how to be abound. I've learned in all things, through Christ who strengthens me. I can do anything. I can do all things with this power. And so being able to have nothing but still be content, or being able to have everything and still be humble, that's kind of the concept of my new album. And pretty much plagiarized it straight from Paul. So
he was your inspiration. I like it. That's cool.
Definitely.
This is the Artist Interview with Gordon T.
I'm wondering, we all make mistakes. Christians, if any Christian tells you they don't make mistakes, they're a liar. We all slip up. So I'm interested to know, is there something that since you started doing Christian music, has there been something where you feel, I made the wrong choice, but God helped put it right?
Every day.
Yes, that's probably true. Every day he puts everything right.
Yes, I've had a lot of ups and downs in my walk. I definitely will not lie. I'm about 11 years into my walk, and some seasons are better than others, but all seasons add up, and have the culmination of it all has made me who I am, and it's made me greater. I definitely, and I've had many bouts with depression since I became a believer, especially around 2016, 2017, 2018. Those are really tough years for me, and I'm not going to say I would have given up on my faith, but I almost gave up on myself, just not believing in myself and not having a proper understanding of loving myself and why I should love myself. But I think that looking back in hindsight on all the mistakes I've made and all the kind of rough experiences I've had, I see how it's all added up to make me the greatest man that I am now, and having been through this stuff, I think that's what gave me the strength to be able to take on the things now that I'm taking on. And so I really do believe that God works all things together for our good, and that, like what the enemy meant for evil, he does have a way of weaving it together and turning it into a positive thing and bringing good out of it. And so, yeah.
God can turn it around. And you mentioned in there about loving yourself. And I wonder if some people went, oh, we shouldn't love ourselves. We should love other people. The Bible's so clear, isn't it? We got to love other people as we love ourselves. And actually, as we find out how much God loves us, how much he values us, we find out actually, we can love ourselves. So maybe you're listening at home and you're struggling with depression. Maybe you're listening and you think, oh, I'm not worth it. God would love other people more than me because they do all the right things and I keep messing up. Just want to say what Ty was just saying there is so important. God's love is amazing for you, and he wants to take you through a process so you can see how wonderful he thinks you are. He's never stopped looking upon you and loving you. So actually, whatever situation you're in, God can turn that around. And it doesn't mean it'll instantaneously all be roses. Ty talks there about his battle with depression and things being hard, but he didn't give up on his faith. And I just want to encourage you, if you're listening at home, you're going, it's tough, you don't understand, Gordon. You're right, I don't understand what you're going through. But I do know that God does understand and is always there for you. Ty, thanks for opening up that part of the conversation. It's so important to be a hope giver, and you've just done that for people, just giving hope.
And I want to add on to that too. Just I think that's very important, and I think that was hard for me to understand for so long. But to the same person, I just want to say that you deserve to exist, because God said so. He made you special, uniquely. There's no other person in the world that has the combination of unique features and designs that you have as a person. God really cares about you, and he shows that in the way that he crafted you, especially. And you deserve to exist, and you deserve to be loved, and you are loved. And I believe that you can only love other people once you know why they deserve to be loved and why you deserve to be loved. And it's because not because of anything that we do or can do, but just because it is, because God says so, because God said that you are worthy of love and that he loves you before you've ever accomplished anything, even before, after all of your sins, while we were yet sinners. Christ loved us and gave his life for us, and this unconditional love that we don't usually experience from people. He really is extending it to us in a way that we don't even know how to accept, because it's so counter natural to what we're used to. But it really is. It's like a parent who loves their child no matter what, but even on a deeper level. And that's the type of love that God feels for you, so I want to add that on there.
I couldn't agree more. So do you have a word of advice for people who might be in that dark place, that period of struggle? What action should they take at this moment? If they just listen to us going, yeah, okay, God's speaking to me, what do they need to do now?
Believe it. Really, believe it, because it's true, and it's easy to just hear it, but to believe it, to actually say, you know what, like, I am cool, like I am dope. God does love me. Like I deserve to love myself. Like, no matter what I've done or the mistakes I've made or the people I've hurt, I'm still worthy of love, and I think that sometimes we don't feel like we're worthy of love anymore because of certain things we've done. But, even in the Bible, after a period of lament and repentance, there's always restoration. There's never, every broken situation is an opportunity for God to restore the situation with his love. And I believe he's eager to do so. Yeah. So I believe that to be true, because it is true.
Amen. That's cool. In fact, actually, one other tip for you at home is reach out to a Christian, to reach out to someone and say, look, I just need you to help me. Just pray for this situation. Trust someone who can actually speak into the situation and pray for you as well. That would be a good next step as well. Thanks, Ty.
Yeah.
Okay, so
absolutely.
People are probably listening thinking, I'm going to see that video. That would be good. The one on YouTube. Just search it up. Ty Brasel, Transcendent. But also they might want to follow you on social or find your website. Where do people go?
TyBrasel.com. And, of course, if you Google me, I'm sure you can find all my different things and whatnot. But yeah, pretty much everything is consolidated within TyBrasel.com.
Easy to go to, TyBrasel.com. And I assume you're on Instagram.
It's at Ty. I think there's at Ty_Brasel. But if you type in Ty Brasel, I believe it pops up.
That's it. That's cool. I'm going to find out, because you're younger than me. Okay. You're on Instagram. Are you on Twitter?
I am on Twitter.
Okay, I'm cooler than you because I'm not on Twitter.
Oh, I see.
Okay,
I see.
Are you on Facebook?
I am. I'm on all the platforms. I don't get on them as much anymore because it's so much to keep up with. It's a little overwhelming. It's a little crazy. So I don't get on as much, but I do get on and post and try to interact with my community as much as possible.
Do you have little shuffle dances on TikTok?
Well, no, I don't.
No, neither do I. And I'm not on TikTok. I must.
I see.
And although I'm on Instagram, I'm sorry. There's only 2 posts on there which were done by the station. So
yes.
You're doing better than me, my friend. It can take up the whole life of everyday social media.
Absolutely.
So I'm personally trying to avoid it a fair amount.
Yeah.
But it is useful to connect with people. So people can connect with you on Instagram,
yes.
and that I guess would be good. Okay, that's great. So we've got one more track to play from you, and it's called "God Is the Best." Tell us about this track, sir.
Man, I love this song. This was the first single from the Transcendent album. It features my friend 1K Few, and who's an amazing artist. And after coming through a hard time, I just wanted to put some positive energy into the world. And it says, everything is going to be all right. To God, I said, like, you're the greatest of all time. You won't let me down. All right. And I really believe that, like, he's always going to come through for us. Even when we don't see it, we don't understand it, he'll come through and things will work out and make sense one day.
Wow. Ty Brasel, it's been an absolute honor to have you on the Artist Interview. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
We'll be praying for you. This is your track. God is the best.
God is the best, yeah. Blessings raining down on me. Mama say she proud of me. At the count, they counted me. Look up to the sky, you know what I mean? At the cloud, her angels sing. Let's go. When it feel like this, I'ma go get mine. I ain't gonna be wasting no more time. Living like this, I had to make sacrifice. Everything I've been through, all these all night. Yeah. Alright. Everything gon' be alright. Yeah, alright. You the greatest of all time.
And that was God is the Best by Ty Brasel. And thank you so very much, Ty, for joining us on the Artist Interview this week. Man, you've got a story that's worth listening to and some fantastic music as well. And there are many other interviews with great stories and great music that you can listen to as well at home. Just go to your favourite podcast platform and search up The Artist Interview. I'm your host, Gordon T. I look forward to being with you on the next episode. God bless you. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to The Artist Interview, a Hope FM podcast. Find us at hopefm.com/The Artist Interview.